Hey man, you want a PB&J sandwich? Órale man, me gusta los PB&J sandwiches with the extra jelly. Me gusta. A PB&J sandwich, I love those. Please, with the extra jelly, I love the PB. A peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I would enjoy if you were to give me a PB&J sandwich with the extra jelly. A PB&J sandwich. The beast craves the PB&J. So you do want a PB&J sandwich? Yes, the PB&J sandwich the beast wants with extra jelly. Please. Alright, a PB&J sandwich with extra jelly coming right up.
My name is Dr. Ellie Staple, and I'm a psychiatrist. My work concerns a particular type of delusion of grandeur. It's a growing field. I specialize in those individuals who believe they are superheroes.
Good for you.
What is up guys, Kid Critic is back with another review, and this review is on a very anticipated film, Glass, which is directed by M. Night Shyamalan and stars Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, and James McAvoy. And this is the third film in the Sham Hammer trilogy, with of course Unbreakable, which I love, and Split, which is another film I enjoyed, and now with Glass. And heading into this movie, I was still very excited to see it, though I had very divisive reviews among critics, but I was still very curious and excited to see this movie. And coming out of this film, no pun intended, I felt very split about the movie, and then it took me a while to really collaborate my thoughts on the movie, and then in the end I ended up being more on the positive side than the negative side of the movie. I did enjoy watching Glass, but it definitely has its problems. And the first thing that I loved in Glass is the James McAvoy performance is brilliant. If you loved him in Split, I think he's even better in Glass. He is amazing. Whenever there's like a scene that I don't really enjoy in the movie, and there were scenes I did not really enjoy in the movie, but if James McAvoy's in it, oh my gosh, it just brightens up the scene, and it makes it very entertaining. And his performance, I have to admit, it actually made me enjoy the movie a lot more if his performance wasn't as strong as it was. Another thing that I really enjoyed was what they did with Mr. Glass's character. This is a very, 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 very small spoiler, so if you don't want to hear this very, very, very small spoiler, then skip ahead like 5 seconds. And that is like the first half of the movie, Mr. Glass has like 0 lines. And once I kind of figured out why he wasn't talking at all, I was like, that is genius. That is a total Mr. Glass thing to do. And what they ended up doing with this character, I loved. And I know many people weren't really fond of the ending. I actually really enjoyed what they did in the ending. I also thought the performances across the board were solid. Bruce Willis, even though he hasn't had the best track record obviously lately, he actually, I enjoyed him. I just didn't think the script gave him enough to do, except for like the first 30 minutes. With that, they reintroduced him, and I was like, oh cool. But then after that, it's like they give him 0 lines. They give him the lines that they give him is like, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm gonna go to sleep. I was kind of like the lines they gave him. Again, James McAvoy is brilliant. I loved seeing Sam Jackson in the movie. Sarah Paulson, I thought she was really good for what she was given. I wasn't a big fan of her character. I thought she was very one-note, except for like one scene. But she was just the doctor there. That's literally, that's the name. What you say, well, what was Sarah Paulson's name in the movie? I would say doctor. Because she was very forgettable, not because of her performance, but because of the character. There were also some very suspenseful moments throughout the movie. I also really enjoyed the action scenes in the movie. I just had one problem with the action scenes, and it really annoyed me. Is that the M. Night Shyamalan did a very, like, he overused POV shots, which is basically where you see the point of view of the character. It's like, why do we need that? It's like, it got me really dizzy. Like that fight that you see with Bruce Willis and James McAvoy with the cheerleaders, when they fight each other, it's like they zoom in on Bruce Willis' face. It's like, whoa. It's like if you look very closely at Bruce Willis, you'll be like, ooh, you got a little booger there. But like, just overused it. It got very dizzy. But other than that, the action scenes were cool. There's actually a little bit of grittiness to them, which I really enjoyed. Now, for you negative people out there, I know this is the part that you've been very excited for, which is the negative part of the review. And I have to admit, the number one negative in this movie is that in the first act, I thought moved very well. They had a nice pace to it. But the second act, it dragged so much. And this is where I didn't really like Sarah Paulson's character. Because, so you see them in the mental hospital, obviously, where they're all together. And then she's like, do you know why you guys are here, or something like that. Basically, she goes to each of their room before that scene. It's not really a spoiler because I'm not going to say what she says, but it's like they go through the same scene over and over again. It's like she brings up the same thing. Like if she brought up, like if she went to James McAvoy's room and she's like, my favorite cheeseburger is a nice Big Mac from McDonald's. And then she would do it again to Bruce Willis. My favorite cheeseburger is a Big Mac from McDonald's. And then she would go to Sam Jackson's room, and then she would be like, my favorite burger is a Big Mac from McDonald's. Like, okay, we get it. But then she brings them all together, which is, I mean, it was really cool to see Bruce Willis, Sam Jackson, and James McAvoy all there together. It was really awesome. But the things that she talked about, it's like, we just heard that. We know your favorite burger is a Big Mac from McDonald's. We don't need to hear that again. And it was just like, ugh. But then after that, as the pace started to pick up, and then I started to enjoy the movie a lot more. My second big issue in the movie is that there's lots of plot holes in this film. And this is supposed to be the third and last movie of this Shyamalan trilogy. And it just made more questions. For me, it just made more questions with all these plot holes. Because I'll use this as an example. So it's not a spoiler. This is obviously not a spoiler what I'm about to say. Because, like, if I were to look over there, and I see a glass. Then I look over there. And then I turn back. Now the glass is full of water. Then I would be like, why is the glass full of water? The movie wouldn't tell me. I'd be like, what the heck? But luckily, they weren't huge plot holes. They were little small plot holes that just kind of bothered me. But anyways, moving on to my next negative, which is in the end of the third act. So you know how there's those movies that kind of have multiple endings, or it feels like it had multiple endings? That's what Glass kind of felt like to me at the end of the third act, obviously, because that's where the ending is, duh. And there's basically like lots of reveals in that part. It was a Shyamalan reveal fest. And for you Shyamalan fans out there, you guys know that the special thing about the Shyamalan is his reveals, whether they're great or not. You already know when you're walking into a Shyamalan movie that there's going to be a reveal. And at the end of the third act, when there was a reveal, I was like, oh, so that's the reveal? Okay, I like that reveal. And there was another one, I was like, whoa, there's another one? I have to admit, I actually liked that one too. So there's two, and the reason why I like them is because I thought it fit with the story and it fit with the characters and the previous films, especially with Unbreakable. and you'll see which two reveals I'm talking about. Now there's a third one that I was not a big fan of, because I thought it just complicated things for no reason and you just didn't really need it. And it had to do with Sarah Paulson's character. And for those of you who didn't just fast forward throughout the whole review, you would know that I wasn't a big fan of Sarah Paulson's character, because I thought she was very bland throughout the whole movie. And it had to do with her. I was like, do you really need that? Do you really need that? No, you don't. You're complicating things. We don't need that in our lives. Just make a nice, easy movie. But no, they didn't do that. I didn't like that reveal, and that's why. So with that said, guys, that is my review for Glass. And my score is a 3.2 out of 5 Fernies. I actually enjoyed Glass. I was more on the positive side. And if you didn't like Glass, tell me down in the comment section below why you didn't like Glass in a friendly manner. Because we don't want negativity in this channel. And if you are a negative subscriber, change that. And be a positive subscriber. And if you don't want to do that, then unsubscribe. Because I don't care. If you're negative, get out of here. Skadoodle. We don't want you here. We want positive conversations. Just wanted to say that. I want to spread that message around the film fandom community. And with that said, guys, look out for the next review, and peace.